Welcome to Amy Learns to Cook. I'm Eric, and on today's episode we're going to cook sausage stroganoff. Now this reminds me of comfort food from when I was a child, and I used to be in the shopping aisle with my mom, and while ignoring me, she would reach for that familiar box of Hamburger Helper. Well, today we're going to try to cook something that tastes a little bit better than that. So let's get cooking. So the first ingredient we're going to do is we're going to brown some sausage. So we're just going to put a little bit of olive oil in here, just drizzle a little. And then we're going to put a pound of sausage until it's browned. So right now we've browned the sausage, we're removing it, and we're going to go ahead and put it on the side until our other ingredients are all cooked. We're going to go ahead and put about half a stick of butter in a pan here, and we've got one medium onion that's chopped. Put that in here, trying to make too much of a mess. We're just going to cook this until it's kind of translucent, a little soft. We're not going to worry about browning it right away. It's still going to cook a lot more, but we just want to soften it. And then we're also going to put in a couple of cloves of garlic. I didn't want to put the garlic in too soon because it'd run the risk of burning and becoming bitter. So we're just going to put it in there for a little bit. And then we'll put the mushrooms in next. About maybe a minute. We're still on a high heat. I don't want to burn them, so we're going to put in about 10 mushrooms that I've sliced. You can also use a can of sliced mushrooms, like the 4-ounce size if you want. These mushrooms, of course, will cook down. Now that the mushrooms have been cooking for a couple of minutes, I'm going to go ahead and put in a couple of tablespoons of flour as a little bit of a thickener. And also, you can put in salt, but I'd rather wait till later, salt to taste after the fact. So for right now, I'm just putting in about a quarter of a teaspoon of black pepper. And because I like a little more heat, I'm also putting in a quarter teaspoon of cayenne powder too. So that's also something you can adjust to your liking if you like. If you'd used a can of mushrooms instead, then you could put the seasonings in as soon as you put the mushrooms in. But because I was using fresh, I wanted to give it a couple of minutes to cook down, and then. So from right now, I'm going to cook for about maybe 5 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and we'll put in the soup, which is the next ingredient. We've been cooking the mushrooms and the onions for about 5 minutes together, and we just added a can of condensed cream of chicken soup, and I added about a quarter of a cup of water to it because it looked like it was a little too thick. So we're going to go ahead and simmer this for about 10 minutes uncovered. I turned the heat off high. It's now on like a medium. While the soup and the onions and mushroom is cooking, you want to bring a pot of water to a boil and add some of your favorite noodles and cook them until they're al dente. So that way when this, and we're going to reheat the sausage, then it'll be ready for the noodles. So now that the soup has had a chance to work its magic, we're going to go ahead and add back the browned sausage that we cooked earlier. We're going to let that warm back up, and we're going to add at the same time sour cream. Now in this case, Amy's allergic to dairy products, so we're not going to use real sour cream. We're going to use an imitation version. but I'm going to take the same precautions as if it was real sour cream. Anytime you add a cold cream to a hot mixture, especially a boiling mixture, you run the risk of it curdling and separating, and it can be gross. So what we've done is we've brought the fake sour cream up to a room temperature. I'm going to add it slowly, and also because the meat isn't warm yet, this is a good time to add it. In other words, it's not blazing hot at this point. Also, you can add a little bit of flour or cornstarch to the sour cream, and what that does is that binds with the proteins and somehow protects them from separating. So I'm going to go ahead and add this and then stir this in. This was 1 cup of sour cream, or in this case, imitation sour cream, that we added to the recipe. Right now, the noodles that we're cooking are just about ready, and I'm going to add them in just a moment after this has a chance to warm up. Now we're going to strain the noodles, now that they're al dente. Put them into the Now we're just going to go ahead. Give this a Okay, now we're ready to take a taste of this. And like I said, you can definitely season this to taste. Because of the salt in the water that we used to boil the noodles and the soup, I felt there was enough salt for my needs. And also the pepper, we use cayenne, and it's got plenty, believe me. I'm going to put a little parsley on here for color. Let's go ahead and take a test now. So you've got the mushrooms, the onions, got a little bit of back heat from the cayenne in this case, but also the soup gives it kind of a creaminess. I'd be happy to make this any night of the week or take the work. But anyways, so the next time that you're in a supermarket, go ahead and pass up those boxes. As you can see, this is way more flavorful, doesn't take that long, it's easier than you think to cook, and it's just incredible. That's all I can say about it. Go ahead and subscribe to Amy Learns to Cook. There's more videos on the way, and while you're at it, follow us on Twitter at twitter.com, Amy Learns to Cook, and go to our website, www.amylearnstocook.com.